Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance, and here we are looking at Petro123, and he's featured in some of our replays before, and he's in the M40 M43 on the south spawn of Cliff, and battle's about to commence. And we're off, and he's moving to the west for his firing position. I think we can see in this replay that he's actually using the M43 because that's the 8-inch howitzer on this vehicle. Okay, he's looking for a position, I think, in the bushes. Yep, that's where he's headed. And he's extended his aim right away, and he's looking for his first target. And he's found it. It's Waffenträger Alf Panzervier. No, he's ignoring it. I think what he's after is those heavies coming up from the hill, from the spawn. And he's found a Tiger 1. He aims, rounds out. It takes a long while to arrive, but he gets 186 damage and causes 3 critical hits. And he's relocating. In the meantime, a T-54 lightweight managed to get up onto the top of the hill. It's right next to the lighthouse. Okay, and he's aiming at it. 2/3 of the way through the load cycle. It's already suffered some damage. And it looks like the enemy Arty is trying to prevent an RU-251 from Petro's team from getting to the top. But he's lined up. He's ready to shoot on that T-54. He fires. Rounds out. Oh, just overshot, but it did do 257 hit points of splash. And a T-43 is joining that T-54 on top of the mountain. The RU-251 is up on the top, but he's had to back away after spotting the T-43. Now let's see if Petro can damage these tanks and stop them from dominating the top of the hill. 251's popping up every now and then to take a shot, but receiving damage as well. It's almost loaded. Rounds out. Oh, direct hit into the side of that T-43. 462 hit points and 2 critical hits as well. And he's picking up stun assists and the 251 taking advantage. And I think that 251 can now dominate the hill. Yes, the T-43's backed away. He knows that he can't stay up there. Not with that stun. He would be very vulnerable. So it gives the top of the hill to the RU-251. That should give us a lot more targets to fire at as the 251 starts seeing the enemy positions. He's loaded. He's looking for the enemy Arty in the bushes next to the cap. Can he see the tracer? Is the enemy Arty there? Maybe it's over the other side. If you turn off the V key, it's a lot easier to see where the tracer is. Still no sign. This is valuable seconds ticking away. He needs to be aiming at other tanks, getting hits into them, helping his team. Still no sign. No, it looks as if the enemy Arty is not in this corner either. Now there are a few positions on Cliff that enable an Arty to fight without actually being in the usual Arty positions. Obviously I can talk about that in other videos, but not mention all of our trade secrets. But he's now centering on this IKV-90B. Almost ready to fire, and he shoots. Direct hit, 429 hit points and a good solid stun, and he's picked up stun assist and it's killed. Okay, now there's a T-54's come back onto the top of the hill again, and the RU-251's had to back away because it looks like he's been hit by Arty. He's carrying some stun. It looks like that lightweight is also trying to stay away from the top of the hill because he's worried about being hit. But of course Petro can get a shot into him. Yep, that's definitely a hit from the Arty there on the RU-251. Now he needs to get this lightweight. Rounds out. 187 splash. Now he's gone back to looking for the Arty again. He could see the hits were going in on his teammates, but I'm not sure this is a wise use of the time. Normally Arty will do counter battery if there are no other visible targets to shoot at, but he has plenty of targets he can shoot at, as shown on the map. But he's ignoring them, and that could prove fatal. Nope, still nothing if you turn off the V key. Now he's wasting valuable seconds here. He really does need to be focusing on the targets he can see and expedite them as quickly as he can. But all the time he's looking here, he's not firing, and that means his team is likely to lose. The Arty is such a valuable part of the team. They can do more damage because they enable their team to take advantage of stunned tanks. Okay, he's gone back to firing at the targets that can be seen, but I think he's left it too late now. And this could be the end of the battle. There's only 8 minutes 50 seconds to go, but the enemy has now gained the advantage of a large proportion of the map. And in spite of there being an IS-6 on top of the hill, it's going to be difficult for him to take advantage of these positions that the Tiger 1's taken. He did get some stun into that Tiger 1. He's picking up stun assist, and the Tiger 1 has been killed by the T-30. That T-30 was up on the hill. That T-54 lightweight's still up there, and the M44 M4A1 Revolurise on the corner, and the IS-6 has gone down. Now the Revolurise is climbing that little rise, which gives it a better vantage point. He's aiming at it, but it's a difficult shot. It's hiding amongst the rocks. He shoots, and he kills it. 393 hit points. That was a very difficult shot, but he managed to get the shell in there. Now got the Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4, and it's on that rise on the first plateau. Now he can get a shot in there, but again it's difficult because it's over the edge. Now if he fires it too short, it'll hit the ground ahead of the rise. If he shoots too long, it's going to go into the valley below. It's a very narrow target whilst that WT is on the rise. He'd be much better off firing at that T-54 that's on top of the hill. They do have an advantage of one tank at the moment. But it looks like there's an IKV-90B on Petro's team who's not really taking part. And the RU-251 is indicating him to the other teammates. And he's gone back to the lightweights on top of the hill. And it's facing off against that T-30, but it could still be a danger. No, he's ignoring it. He's going for the Waffenträger instead, and they've lost the AT-15 that was guarding the valley, which is the approach to the cap. Now he shoots a round in, and it hits! It definitely hit the Waffenträger. The shell disappeared without an explosion. It hit the target, a blind target. That means the Waffenträger is going to be stunned. There's a Leo and a 1375 up there, and a T-26E4 has been spotted as well. Now, can he get a shot into that? The Waffenträger's appeared, and it's missing some hit points, so he definitely hit it. But he's lost the 1357. This is difficult. They're now one tank down, and it looks like the enemy has the advantage of position. Or it was a 2 against 1 fight and they lost the Leo. Now, if that IKV is not active, they've got a definite, distinct 3-tank disadvantage. And the route to the cap is now wide open, so it's going to be very, very, very difficult for them to prevent the enemy making their way to the cap. Yes, one of them's up on the rise, having a quick look now. The T26E4 and the WZ121FT. They're both looking over the edge, seeing if they can spot him. He shoots in around. He hits the WZ. Good strike. 507 direct hit. And 2 critical hits. That's going to deter that WZ from poking over the edge again. But the rest of the members of Petro's team aren't really engaging. And we've got a 4503, an IKV-19. He's been spotted. His sixth sense goes off. The enemy's seen him. He needs to move. The enemy Arty will be after him straight away. And that's a round from the FV207. And we know where the FV207 is now because we can see by the indicator whereabouts he was in that dip. But how close he was, we don't know. And he's been spotted again. That means that FV207 will fire at him again. He needs to move. He needs to get out of there. He's hugging that rock for all it's worth. But unfortunately, that's not good enough. He was taken out by the WZ120. Meanwhile, the IKV has come back to life and now he's heading to the enemy cap around the cliff. Around the mountaintop, rather. And the unfortunate thing is there, it's too late. The battle is effectively over. There's a 3-tank advantage to the enemy. And he's been spotted as well, and he's being fired upon by an STRV 1030. And he's now trapped. He can't move from that position without getting shot. And the FV207's firing at him now as well. This is disaster. This needn't have happened if the IKV and the other tanks were engaged, but they just didn't get involved. Oh, this is going to be over very, very quickly. It's unfortunate. And there he goes. He's killed by the T26E4. And that just leaves the last teammate, who's sitting up top of the hill, not able to do anything. Totally the wrong place for a heavy to be. Why he came up here, I really do not know. I don't understand it at all, but all I can think is he's an inexperienced player and he's in the wrong place. He has got 3 kills, but he can't really change the result now. The enemy are going to win unless he gets down from that hill pretty quickly and starts scoring some kills. No, I think he's given up as well. He's backing away. Not actually doing anything. They're going to cap out. Such a waste. What more can be said, but this player needs to go back to the drawing board and learn how to play his tanks properly. And despite that last kill, he's lost. And that needn't have happened. So let's have a look at the end of battle results. And it was a second class tanker for Petro 123. A bruiser medal for causing at least 5 critical hits to modules or damage to crew members. A Gores medal for scoring more damage than 10 times the hit points of his own vehicle. and a Confederate medal for hitting at least hitting most enemies and hitting at least 6 tanks that were killed by other team members. So well done, Pietro. At least you got some epic medals out of it. If we look at the team scores, he got the second highest score with 3,528. He managed to get 1 kill, and he earned base XP of 606. We can see that the T-30 that survived the entire battle and just sat there on top of the hill did do a lot of damage at 4,505, but and 4 kills. But he could have come down from that hill. He could have had a final impact on that battle by taking out the enemy that was in the cap, but he just didn't. He gave up. If we look at the detailed report, Pietro fired 10 rounds. He got 5 direct hits, 5 penetrations. He splashed 5. And he did damage of 3,528 hit points, all at more than 300 meters. He received 1 hit, 1 penetration from that WZ-120. And he received 1 hit as a result of splash damage from the FV-207. He damaged 8 vehicles. He destroyed 1. And damage caused by stun assistance was 1,245. And he did 9 stuns in total. He has a premium count, so he earned 42,984 credits. And add on to that the Courageous Resistance, he gets an additional 5,038 credits, giving a total of 48,023. But after repairs to his vehicle and his ammunition resupply and his consumables, he takes away a deficit of 8,233 credits. He earned XP of 909. Add on the Courageous Resistance of 522 experience points, he takes away a total of 1,431 base XP. So well done, Pietro, but it's a pity you did your job, but the other tanks didn't. But I would say in a critical comment that you spent too much time looking for the enemy Arty and not enough time hitting the enemy tanks that were in sight. If you'd taken those tanks that were sitting on top of the hill and the ones that were hovering around the bottom of the hill, I think this result might have been different, because they would have lost their fire support, and I think you would have had a different result. So good replay, but it teaches us a lesson. If you enjoyed this replay, please do give a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully I will see you in the next replay.